Hey, Burned In Teachers. I'm Amber from burnedinteacher.com and the Burned In Teacher podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about a couple of ways that you can share your teaching ideas when you don't feel like you have any. And I promise you, you do have some great ideas, but it's going to be different than what you typically see on Instagram or YouTube or different social media outlets, okay? So often in our day-to-day lives as teachers, we are busy doing so many different things. We're putting out fires, hopefully not literally. We are making minute-by-minute decisions. We're trying to ignite the love of learning within students who would be very happy with it staying a small flicker or not igniting that love of learning at all. A lot of times, teachers who are struggling with burnout focus on these problems as just the way that it is. It's teaching is hard. I can't do this. I have all of these negative relationships with my coworkers. They focus on how their administrator is so disconnected and doesn't want to help them to solve their struggles, or how the internet connection never connects. There are so many different negativities that we can focus on as educators as we move through our day, because so many things happen. There are so many changes. There are so many things that happen that are unexpected throughout our day. In addition, then you jump into Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or Pinterest, and you see all of these amazing, cute, fun ideas that teachers are either trying to sell or that they are implementing, things that they're doing with their classroom as far as their classroom reveals. And I'm not hating on teachers that paint a perfectly painted picture of how beautiful teaching is and how fun it is all the time. Teaching can be really, really fun. It really can, but it's so subjective and so different for every single teacher around the world, different grade levels, different corporations, just different school buildings within the same corporation can have different challenges. And so what I'm offering you today is to help you to move past those struggles by sharing them with others, but also doing the work necessary to share what you're doing to solve those struggles with the world. You never know who's watching and listening to what you're saying on social media. And I know that those posts about how hard and terrible teaching is and how you don't want to go to work on Monday and teachers feel this whenever this happens, all of those funny memes and GIFs that are out there, they're hilarious. And as a teacher, you can totally relate to them. They are things that nobody other than teachers are really going to understand. I've seen 3 different types of social media posts. The first one is the ones that focus solely on the negative. Even if they're funny, they're focusing solely on the negative and just saying, you can do this, but not giving you a structured step-by-step way of how you can do this. And do what exactly? What exactly do you want me to do with these funny posts? I laugh at them, yes, but then what is it that I could do to change my situation and my attitude and my classroom behavior and my relationship with my parents and maybe your real personal parents or the parents of your students? What is it that I can do to fix this so I'm not miserable anymore? The other one, type 2 of the social media posts I've noticed, is ones that paint that fictitious picture of perfection. I have seen classrooms on Instagram that make me wonder if they are really classrooms, if these are really real teachers. You know how sometimes there are those different news posts and those different ideas and conspiracy theories that there are those people, those dramatic actors that show up in videos on the news or on YouTube, and they're extremely dramatic and they cause more drama. And then you're like, okay, is this really real? Is this really happening? Well, it makes me wonder the same thing when I look at these pictures on Pinterest and on Instagram sometimes. I'm thinking they can't be real. They're too perfect. This classroom is really for second graders. It looks like a beautiful boutique that I would want to walk into as an adult and buy clothes and furniture from. So sometimes there is that disconnect between, is this reality Because if it is, I am a horrible teacher. I'm a horrible person. My class doesn't even look close to that. And now there's a difference between having a classroom that's trashed and cluttered versus a perfect Instagram picture. I totally get that. But that again can help you to, or not really help you, but hurt you in how you're viewing, how your teaching is going day to day. The third type of post is posts that share difficulties, and then of course, how to overcome them. So this week on the Birds and Teacher podcast, I interviewed Tom Mulaney, and he and I had something so similar in our theory of how and why we blog or we make YouTube videos or we post Instagram pictures. And it's all in the effort to share our challenges, but also how it is we are attacking those challenges, what we're learning, what we're researching, what we are choosing to put out into the world that is really serving others. Okay, so do you see how there really is different, categorically different ways and reasons that people are sharing out on social media? So my encouragement to you and Tom's encouragement to you this week was to share your game-changing ideas. And by game-changing, I don't mean create another cute worksheet for kids to sit at their tables at and write on. I don't mean to create something for teachers pay teachers and try to sell it. If that's what you want to do, then go for it. That's fine. But what I'm suggesting, what Tom is suggesting, is sharing with the world what you're specifically struggling with. So let's say you're struggling with classroom management. Okay, you're really struggling with building relationships with your kids. Okay, rather than getting on YouTube, rather than getting on Instagram or on Facebook and just completely venting your heart out and just hitting those keys with angst and anger and frustration and stress, thinking about, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to share this struggle with the world, but I'm also going to share the steps that I'm taking to change my current reality, to change my situation. I am really, really hating the way my interactions with my students are each day. And before, I used to look at it as their problem, but it really comes down to what I'm really trying to do differently. This kind of goes back to last week's video. What I'm doing differently to relate and to teach these students. They are different than the students I had last year. They're certainly different than the students I had 5 years ago. But I'm going to share with the world what I'm doing to change it. All right, step by step. And that's exactly where I went with Burned In Teacher, is when I was learning all of the things that I was learning about Google and how to use it in my classroom with my kids to help them create and collaborate, I could not wait to share my story with the rest of the world, because I knew there were other teachers who were really struggling with, what is it that I do with this educational technology? What is it that I do with these Google apps for education? I don't even know where to start. Well, here's this person over here who's sharing not only how they're using ed tech in the classroom, but that they are themselves struggling with burnout and how this ignited their passion for teaching again. Okay, do you see the difference here between just bursting onto the social media scene with negativity and also painting a pretty fake picture about how your daily life really is if you really are struggling with something? So there are 3 ways that I shared with you on this week's blog post on burnedinteacher.com of how you can share these struggles, but also steps you are taking to relieve those struggles and how to serve other teachers, because that's exactly what I want educators to use social media for. Is, yes, I want you to relate to each other. Yes, I want conversations to be started, but more than that, I want you to work together to solve these issues. There are some things within our education profession, especially in the United States, that we mostly don't have control over. Okay, I know that we can unite together to make bigger changes, but in our day-to-day teaching lives, we have to think about ways that we can support one another. And so here are my suggestions. Number 1, start a blog, a simple blog. It doesn't have to be a blog platform that you have to pay for. You could use Blogger. That's where I started. Tom suggested WordPress. I know they have different tiers and levels of how you can use that platform based on how much you pay. And now I have transitioned my blog from Blogger to Squarespace, which I'm really personally very happy with. It's great to support the podcast, and I just really enjoyed it. But the bottom line is if you start with one platform, you can change to another as you grow. If you choose to grow your blog into something bigger, or you just want to continue to grow and change as you evolve your blogging. The other way, and this one really scares people, is by using YouTube like I'm using now. I encourage you to go live, but as you see me glancing, I've taken quick notes and bullet points on what it is I want to share with you. All right. So I encourage people to try to keep those videos under 5 minutes, and here's why. I was going to try to keep this video under 5 minutes, and here it is at 10. So I'm almost done though. So definitely make a bullet pointed list of the 3 most important things you want to share. Try to keep it under 5 minutes. And the same thing goes if you're really not ready for the YouTube space, just go live on Facebook and just say, hey, friends and family, I am just wanting to share with you that I'm struggling with this thing. And I want to share with you what it is that I'm dealing with and what it is that I'm trying in my classroom. And if you want to join the conversation, I really encourage you to comment below and tell me what it is that you think I could do to solve this specific struggle I'm having with either this one student or this other teacher or this administrator or this entire class. What is it that you think I can do? Because here's what I'm trying. People are going to come back at you with so much support and so many more ideas than you ever thought possible, just by you getting vulnerable and being willing to share your thoughts and your struggles with everybody else that knows you or that doesn't know you. All right. Finally, the last thing I want to encourage you to do today as you share your game-changing ideas is to keep it positive. Of course, struggles in essence are built on negativity, things that happen to us that we didn't expect or that maybe we did expect, and they continue to get worse, okay? But what we're doing by getting vulnerable and going out into the world and sharing those struggles and sharing what we're trying is we're putting a positive spin on it. We are saying, this is not going to settle with me. I am not going to continue to struggle with this thing forever. I'm going to become a better person, a better teacher, a better colleague, a better parent by researching and learning and sharing what I'm learning with others so that those people that are struggling with the same thing I can help to alleviate that struggle with them, not just for them, but with them. And that's what the whole idea of sharing out your game-changing ideas is all about. You might know something that seems really simple that someone else who's struggling with has never even considered. And as I sign off for today, I want to encourage you, again, this kind of goes back to being positive and to supporting your struggle with steps to get out of that struggle. When you get on social media, you are creating what I have called and what others have called in the past a teacher brand. And if you've never heard of a personal brand, I, of course, am centering this around educators. A teacher brand is what parents, other teachers, kids, administrators, whoever you surround yourself with or are working with every day. It's when you are not in the room and your name gets brought up, it's automatically what people think of you. It's what image they find in their head. All right. It's past experiences with your attitude or the way you approach problems. And I will admit, I have gone through ups and downs with my teacher brand when I was in the classroom full time. I had a very different teacher brand at the first school that I taught with than I had at the second one. And I didn't like my teacher brand at first. And so I made a conscious effort to try to change it. It was very, very difficult. It takes work. It takes closing your mouth and not saying things that you typically would say in the past, because sometimes what we're struggling with is the way we are projecting our own ideas and trying to solve problems. We're not doing it in a productive and positive way. So one way you can really help to change your teacher brand is changing the way you're looking at things and projecting your struggles to others. And that can change right now by you sharing ways that you are managing those struggles that you're having by sharing your game-changing ideas out there online, either on YouTube, by blogging, Facebook living, even the way you project yourself on Facebook without going live. So I encourage you and challenge you to share your game-changing ideas, but do it in a way that is positively reflecting your viewpoint on your career, and so you can help to serve others. I hope you have a wonderful week. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you next week for another version of the Burned In Teacher podcast, and of course, another video to help you to become a more burned in teacher. Burn on.